Hi, it's Ulti Carlson here, and Shout Factory is at it again, continuing to reissue vintage films, and one of their latest releases is this reissue of DragonHeart. DragonHeart, of course, being a fantasy epic that came out in the mid-1990s, which was pretty revolutionary at the time for its CG effects. But how does the movie hold up nearly 3 decades later? We're going to do an unboxing and a review of this release, and I will share my opinions. I actually quite like this cover art here. You got list of the cast there, title of the film, close-up of the dragon. It says right there in the middle, "You will believe." There's our spine text. Back cover's got some great photos from the film. And then list of the bonus features, description of the film, legalese and credits. Inside the package we have our 4K disc with the film, and then a Blu-ray disc which has the film as well as some additional features. I will read the description of the film as follows from the back of the packaging. Long ago, when majestic fire breathers soared through the skies, there lived a knight who had come face to face and heart to heart with the most remarkable creature that ever existed, the dragon. Dennis Quaid stars with the voice of Academy Award winner Sean Connery in the heroic adventure that blazes with fantasy and humor. DragonHeart is an epic adventure that will thrill the entire family. Now, like I said, when DragonHeart first came out in the mid-90s, the CG effects on its dragon hero were pretty remarkable for the time. Honestly, these effects haven't necessarily aged the best, but I do respect this movie for being a marvel in the era in which it was created. The actual plot of the movie revolves around a young prince who becomes king on the death of his father following a peasant revolt. And despite using the magic of the dragons to revive the boy so that he doesn't die, he unfortunately becomes just as corruptive as his father was. So his former mentor, who is trying to put him on a better path, has to join forces with one of his former dragon foes so that they can go back and reclaim the kingdom and help the peasants who continue to suffer. DragonHeart is certainly an entertaining movie. It's a good movie, but it's not a great one. It just can't seem to decide quite where it wants to go as far as its script goes. I mean, do you want to focus on the relationship between dragons and man? Do you want to focus on the elements of the peasants and their struggles? Do you want to focus on the elements of the evil king and what he does? And I just have to say, it doesn't quite succeed at any of these things. And that's a shame, because the movie actually has a very good cast. Dennis Quaid, of course, plays our main human hero. Draco the Dragon is voiced by Sean Connery, who anything Sean Connery is in, he makes better just by his presence alone, even if it is just his voice. And then you have supporting roles played by the likes of Dina Meyer and Pete Postlethwaite. So, again, a lot of talent here. The movie's not a total loss, and there are some pretty good and entertaining scenes throughout, even if some of the material, particularly the effects, tend to look a little dated. That said, I do think, even if just marginally, the good does outweigh the bad, and I did have a fun time going back and revisiting this one. I think I only saw this once, on TV back in the day when I was just a teenager, and I've never owned any prior home video release of DragonHeart. So I did have to take a look and just see what's been released over the years. Apparently there have been some pretty bad releases that have suffered from noise reduction and things like that back in the days of the Blu-ray format. I did pick up this 4K disc because I was able to get a pretty good deal on it. And I have to say, the transfer, I think, is a little underwhelming. It just looks kind of flat and dull and not quite as vibrant or well detailed as I would have expected. A lot of that, of course, can be attributed to the visual effects that were used in the film. They obviously hadn't come as far as they have today. And it looks to me like there still might be some degree of noise reduction and enhancements which really do more to hurt the picture. It doesn't live up to the most vibrant and beautiful looking 4K transfers, and that's disappointing because this is a movie I think really could look beautiful if it gets the proper remastering job. Shout Factory, I assume, probably did the best with the elements that they had. Not a bad looking release, but it does fall slightly below the standards I usually have for a 4K presentation. There are some bonus features on the disc, but unfortunately it's just previously released material, including some vintage making of stuff, trailer for the film, and a few outtakes, things like that. Nothing to really get too excited about, and odds are you've probably seen it on a previous release. If you are a fan of DragonHeart, I would say this is the release that you should pick up, because if nothing else, I don't own any of those prior releases, but I can assume this would at least be a modest upgrade over those. Just don't come in here expecting 4K demo material. Are you a fan of DragonHeart? Do you think this movie is a classic? Do you think it helped pave the way for some of the fantasy TV shows and films we'd get in later years? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content because I'm always posting new videos. And be sure to give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.